what did we call this? Our detective's notebook, journal book. And this thing right here, this jam-packed thing. All right, so in your kit, I tried to actually, I've learned through my classes what works and what doesn't work. And for your particular class, you might have noticed that I actually labeled part of your book. Let me see if I can come down a little bit more. Yeah. So I did put the front for you, and I did put the back because I know some people had problems with figuring out exactly what was the front and what was the back and how the journal book went together. So when you get it, and as you can see, I've already put some of my paper down because I wanted to get ahead of you a little bit in case, you know, I start talking and I'm not crafting. But in your kit, you got 2 file folders, and these are file folders. These are the bigger ones. So that's why it's an oversized journal for you.
Okay, I'm going to put myself on mute so I don't interrupt anybody.
Okay. So these are 2 pieces that we're going to be gluing together, and that's one of the first things I want to show you is kind of how the book goes together. You also should have gotten an insert piece here, and this is going to be the pocket for your back page. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to work on is how this goes together, and then we're going to start decorating the actual pages for you. So what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of get both of your pieces and get your front and your back and kind of just physically put it together how it would go, because I want to show you a couple things here. When it's like this and you open it up like this is your front, and if you open it up, this is going to be glued. Okay, so this is going to be an insert pocket right here. So you don't want to decorate that with paper. Okay, so if you want to put like a little X on it or something like that, you don't want to decorate that. Is everybody with me? If you flip it over to the back, you've got the same thing here. You've got this little tab that opens. This is going to be glued down on the sides, and this will be another pocket for you to insert. On the actual book, see if I can pull it. It is tight, but it will fit. It will fit items in here. Okay, so you've got a pocket on the edges when you actually glue your book together. Now, on my prototype, I actually added paper, but I thought it made it a little bit too thick. So what I'm going to do for this one, and this is going to be the first thing we do, is I want you to kind of open it up where the pocket's going to be and just ink it. I mean, you can add a little bit of paper if you want to. I just don't like to have edges that look white. I'm not going to add paper. I'm going to actually just ink the edge, so that way when it's closed, you're not seeing manila. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Let's just go ahead. I've got my walnut stain, and I'm just going to add some walnut stain to the very edge on both sides. So when I glue it shut, the edge won't look manila. And you don't even have to blend this really well because, again, remember, the pocket's going to be really tight. And all you're probably going to see is this edge right here. But for me, that's enough. And I'm going heavy-handed on this. That's why you're seeing all of these harsh marks. But again, I want it to be dark. I'm not using designer paper. I just don't want to have that manila color. And then when you close it, you know, you're going to see, as you can see here, just a little bit. You see a little bit of the brown, but at least it's not manila. So that's the reason we're doing that. All right. Your back one. I'm going to do the same exact thing. This is your back. Open it up, and let's add some ink to these edges. So I'm coming in just really heavy-handed here, just so I don't have to use designer paper, because I found, again, the designer paper it made it a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be. All right. Okay. All right, so once you have those two pieces inked up, kind of re-put your page here. The next thing I want us to ink is this little insert. This insert is going to be a pocket on the back. So the inside of your pocket is not going to get paper, but let's add a little bit of brown ink on the inside portion of your pocket. So the way that you can tell what the insert is that outside it's going to have a flat edge on your left-hand side, because that's going to go up against your edge. Okay, so you don't want to ink this side. You want to flip it over, and you want to ink where the rounded corners are. Okay, and again, we're just adding ink to the inside pocket edge. And you don't have to use brown or vintage photo, or, you know, I mean, you can use whatever color you want. But again, I like it to look old. And if you've watched some of my Sunday afternoon lives, you know, walnut stain is kind of my go-to for that. I think Tim Holtz needs to give me a kickback on walnut stain, because I sure do talk about it a lot. All right. Okay. Okay, so now we have our ink done. If you want to, I probably will do this actually. The other pocket you have is, you got your two sets here, right? This is going to get glued. This is how we attach them. This gets glued. So if you want to add a little bit of ink to the inside of this pocket, you can do that. So again, these are your front and your back. All I did was open up my front, and these two pieces here are going to get glued to create another pocket. And if you want to ink, you know, the edge of this, you can do that. I'm going to do that really quickly. Let's get all of our inking out of the way here. Okay. Put that aside. Okay, so now we've got our inking. Now we're going to go ahead and glue our journal together here. Let me just think about this. Actually, what we're going to do first is we're going to put our front and our back. Now, I know in the beginning of the video I said you pick whatever paper you want, but I do recommend for your front and your back to use the leather type paper. I just think it makes it look more like a detective's notebook, I guess. It is the leather, and that's specifically what I bought it for, was for the front and the back. You don't have to use this. I know in my prototype I did a different designer paper, but I couldn't get that anymore, so I ended up going with the leather, the faux leather, and I just think that makes a really nice cover. So let's do that first. My paper is already pre-cut because I got ahead of myself this week, just so I can talk and not have to worry about cutting. but you are going to need to get a pencil probably, and you're going to need to do some tracing, because as you see, your paper probably is flat. All right, but this front part, and we're working on the front, this front part, you know, has your curves here, so you're going to need to trim it down. So I'm old school. I just basically kind of butt up my paper, flip it around, and I just use my pencil to trace it, and then I cut it. That's how I do it. It doesn't need to be fancy. All you need to do is, just like you're covering any kind of journal, you want to be able to cover it. Make sure when you are measuring, you know, it will cover both sides. You don't want to come up short, but you should be able to cover both pieces, unless that was my intent. Hopefully I measured correctly. So that's what you want to do, is go ahead and measure and then cut, and then you want to glue this down. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Cordelia, I think on one of my last classes, I left something out for you. Hopefully I did a better job this time for you. Sometimes when I am putting these kits together, there's so much to them. And I try to make, you know, I usually make like 10 ahead of time. But then if I get more people that register for the class, I have to go and make more. And sometimes it's hard to know exactly what I put in these kits. All right. So I'm using liquid glue. I always recommend that, because as you can see, I put my paper down and I'm adjusting it as I move along. And that's why I love my 3-in-1 beacon, because it gives me that move time. Robin, you've just started using your 3-in-1. What do you think about it? Yep, you're mute. Did you mute yourself? I just wondering if you have. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it a lot too.
I like that you can actually have it move.
Yes.
Before you. Yeah.
Yes. And now that I've started doing journals, I found I really need that, you know, especially when I'm adding ephemera pieces, or, you know, trying to place things. It's just nice to have that ability to move things while you're working.
That extra couple seconds.
Exactly. All right. So, okay.
Okay.
And you're so funny, Robin. I know you and I were texting back and forth when you bought the wrong one.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm going to add this to my shop since I talk about it so much.
I had the bottle out to use. I was going to use it. I'm so glad the mail came this morning.
Yeah, and the one that you bought would have worked. It's not the one that I use, so I don't like to necessarily say it's the one I use.
Okay, so we're doing this on the front and the back, right?
Yes, correct. Yep, this is the paper that, again, I recommend. You don't have to follow my recommendation, but it's the one that I specifically bought for the front and back cover. And then once you get your paper glued down, I always come in, you know, with my walnut stain, whatever ink you want to use, just to add it to the edges. And I'm hard-handed. I go in and I add my ink. So. And then if you do have a corner rounder, I corner round my edges just to finish it off. All right, and we're going to do that on the back as well. you guys want to put yourselves on mute?
I will. Yeah,
I can hear. That's all right. Yeah, I hear everybody's cutting and chopping. Just it might be a little easier if we're not talking to be on mute.
Yes, my husband's working down in the basement too. So.
All right. Most of your time, if you've never put together junk journals or journals before, most of your time is spent on adding the paper to the pages, I will say. And I've found that on my other classes that takes up a lot of our time. But most of the decorating, to be honest, is personal. So if we don't have a chance to decorate everything together, at the end, I will do a flip through. So you guys, because you're going to get replays, you know, the replay video. I'll do a final flip through so you can see how I decorated my pages. But again, the decorating for the most part is personal in my opinion. So. And you've got a lot of items in this kit to decorate with. So she should not have a problem with that. All right. So I've got my front and my back decorated now. So once we put this together, this is how your folio is going to look. Here's your front and here's your back. I should call it a notebook. I've got that railroad folio on my mind, but this is a notebook. I tell you, it takes so much brain power just to come up with the names of these classes. I don't want to just call it like a railroad journal book, or, you know, I try to tell a story. All right. Okay. Do we need to, how's everybody doing? Can I go ahead and move on to the gluing of it together, or do we need to wait a minute? And you guys, I know we're muted. If you want to give me a thumbs up when I ask a question, or if we need to like slow down, just let me know. Are we good to move on?
Can you hear me, Monica?
Yep, I sure can.
Sorry, I was late. I couldn't get my computer on right. It kept telling me I was a problem. So
no problem.
So sorry.
No problem.
So I'm rushing. I got my front and my back on, but I don't. Can I go ahead and glue it now, or because I don't have the pocket part glued inside? Am I too late, or should I just leave and then come back in hours?
No, you're fine. Let me see what we're gonna glue here. I would say go ahead and take a minute if you want to, if you choose to do this. Where our pockets are gonna be, add some ink, because we're not gonna add paper where we glue. So you've got your two pages here. This is your front and your back. If you open it up, you want to add ink to the inside pocket here, because this is going to get glued, okay? And we just don't want any white to show. So the inside pocket here, and then on the back, if you flip it over and open up, this is going to get glued. I added ink to the edges, so that way you don't just see white. And then again here, ink. So I'm going to start gluing, but when we start gluing, if your edges aren't inked, ink them before you glue it, is my recommendation. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my front, okay? And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to add glue to the edges. So I'm adding glue here, and I'm adding glue at the bottom. Don't glue where your ink is, because that's going to be your pocket. And you don't need to add glue where your creases either, because the ephemera will stop for you. Okay, so is everybody clear on what you're gluing? Just your top portion and your bottom portion. Leave your pocket open. Okay. And when you glue, if you have, you know, paper clips or those black binder clips, I don't have any with me. Sometimes those are nice to be able to help it stick together quickly. I've rearranged my craft room and I don't have anything where I had it before. So you want to give your glue a minute to dry. We're not going to be adding anything in our pockets, so there's not going to be any reason for us to open up these pockets. But certainly, you know, with glue, you want to give it a minute to dry. So we're going to just let it do its thing. But now when you have your book, see, it opens up. You don't have this opening up on you anymore. Okay.
Can you go over where to glue it again? I'm slow.
That's all right. It's already glued, so I can't do that. But you have your front, right?
Yes.
And here's the round part. Here's your edge.
Yep.
If you open up the edge part,
Yep.
that's your pocket. Yeah. So glue the top part and the bottom part.
And the bottom part.
Yeah, leaving your edge open. Mm-hmm. And you want to do that for the back portion as well. Trim this. Okay.
This works pretty good, this glue.
Yeah, I love it. So just a little story where we're gluing here. You guys know I source vintage items. I had found a Chicago detective's briefcase from the 70s, and it had all of his stuff in there, you know, detective forms, reports, whatnot. And you know, I kind of divvied it out, and I've been selling it. I had this I don't know if he was a studio, but he was a prop guy from New York that did props for movies, for studios. And he contacted me and he said, I see you have some vintage detective items. Do you have any more? And I said, yeah, I have over 100 pieces. And he's like, well, you know, I'm using these for a movie. I don't know what the movie's going to be. But he bought the whole lot. He bought everything. And I didn't tell him I had a suitcase because I got rid of the suitcase a while ago. But yeah, so now I don't have any more vintage detective item ephemera because this guy bought it. But I thought it was kind of cool that he said he was making a movie, and it probably was just going to be a background prop or whatever, you know.
Yep.
But that was kind of fun. We were going back and forth. It was funny.
How did he find you?
I had some of it listed on eBay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, yep, for sure. And I don't usually sell on eBay, but sometimes if, you know, that's how new people find me, and then they find out I have my shop. It's just another way for people to find me. All right. I think Brandy is my newest person that found me. How did you find me, Brandy? Is Brandy on? She was on.
There's 8 people, it says, so.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I had seen Brandy earlier, but yeah, Brandy was my newest person, and I'm not sure how she found me. I think she might have found me on YouTube. All right. Okay, so now we have our pockets glued, or we should. I'm just gonna kind of let them be for a minute. And keep in mind, sometimes when you're gluing those pockets, your glue might seep out. So just open your other pages. Make sure that they're not getting glued as well before it's too late. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through and making sure there's no glue on the other pages that I don't want glued. All right. Okay, so now we should have your top one that has, 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and then your middle, and then your back one has this here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So you should end up with 2 pieces that have a middle portion and then the edges. That's where we should be. Does that make sense here? I'm hoping. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to glue our 2 pieces together. So this is our front opened up, and this is our back opened up. Okay. And we're going to glue this together. But before we do that, we are going to add paper to the front part, because your front part, if you'll notice, when you glue it, part of your pocket shows. This is why we did not ink it. Okay, so this is your front. Okay, open it up, turn it over, and you want to add paper here. So I used the hand print on mine. Let's see what I did on the other one. On my prototype, I did a different paper, but any paper is going to work. Just keep in mind that on your back one, when you open it up, you kind of want these to coordinate. So kind of think about it before you start gluing, because the inside portion of the first page of your back is going to be, this is your pocket. So you want your paper to coordinate. So keep that in mind. And I'm just going to hold tight here a minute because I want to make sure everybody is good. Melody, Lords, I know you're not on screen. Hopefully you guys are good. I can see Robin working and I see Cordelia working. So if, you know what, I'm going to make sure I have my chat up. You do have a chat portion for those of you that are not on screen. So if you need to type something or write something and you don't want to be on screen, you can always chat with me there. So hopefully you all see that chat portion on your video. Okay. You got it, Melody. No problem. So does everybody understand what 2 pieces need to coordinate? Because I'm going to go ahead and start gluing mine together. Monica, did you send the black background? I may not have, Melody, sent the black background. I can't remember specifically, to be honest with you. I think I did send you guys a craft piece, but I may not have sent black. I can't remember no black. Okay. So black is a pretty standard cardstock color, so you guys probably have that in your stash. You don't have to use black. I used black. I tend to go a little rogue sometimes off of my projects because, again, it's my project. So use whatever paper you want to use. But just remember that when this gets glued together, you kind of want them to coordinate. Most of your papers coordinate well anyway. You've got a lot of browns. You've got a lot of tans. You've got some blacks. So most anything will work for you, is my guess. Yep. Okay, so don't glue this down until you have this back part of your front piece covered. Now remember, Robin, before you start cutting, you don't have to cover the whole piece, remember, so don't waste all your paper. Because this is the pocket. All you've got to do is cover that much of it. So I hope I caught anybody else. I saw you, Robin, but hopefully nobody else has cut yet. So save your paper. You might want to use it for other parts of your journal. Just use what you need. Okay. So if everybody is, oh, yes.
Sorry, Monica. Okay, I got my hands.
Okay,
now,
perfect.
Thank God I can find them. On the other part, got to be the connector guy. Do you want us to cover this with the black? Is this where we should put a black piece or no?
No, you're not going to need to because it's not going to show. And we've already edged with brown the part that's going to show. Yeah, don't waste your paper.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
All right. Unmute.
It's a good question, though. I think that's our instinct, is to cover every piece of page that we see. Yeah. Cordelia, you doing good? I just saw you look up. Are you good, girl? You good? Perfect. All right. Okay, I'm going to move on to my gluing. You've got this is your front. I've got it open. We've got this covered. This is our back. These two pieces are going to get attached. Okay. Now, when you're gluing, don't glue down here. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me think about this a minute. Yes, you are going to glue down there because I want the sturdiness of it. You're going to glue the edge, the top. Okay. You're going to glue the bottom, of course, but this time you are going to add some glue to the bottom because this is what holds your journal together. Okay, so you want it sturdy. So you're going to add glue, 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 and then glue and glue. You don't need to add it on both sides. It's just going to be a wet mess if you do that. But do it on one of the sides. Okay. Maxie, he's awake. All right. And then when you're gluing it, remember, they're not the same size. So what I recommend is get your two pieces, butt them up on your desk, and bring them together this way. So that way your edges are aligned. Don't align your two top pieces because they won't align. And see what I just did? I added glue to the top part. You don't need that, obviously. So when you're gluing, I recommend add glue to the small part because I just added glue where I didn't need it. So, and then once you've got it glued, kind of like when you do file papers, make sure they're all kind of stacked together. Make any adjustments you need to. And then we're going to give this a minute to dry. Now, ordinarily, when I'm making these journals, I probably would clip this and set it aside for the night, but obviously we're not going to do that. So when you're decorating your pages, just be aware you've got those, you've got them glued, so they may not be completely dry. Just be careful. We're gonna give this a minute though. And then I'm just going to kind of go along the edges now and add my walnut stain as I have it closed here, just to the edges. And then once you're confident that it's somewhat together, again, go through your pages. If that glue seeps out, it might come into some of those other pages. Just go through your journal, open up the pages that you know need to be open just to make sure none of that glue seeped through. When you turn your page now, this should be attached. Okay. Okay. And then of course you have your pockets here. Let's see here. You've got pockets here, and you've got pockets right here now on the edge. All right. So I'm just kind of reinforcing, I'm just kind of pushing the edges down, making sure any of that wet glue seeps through so I don't come up with a mess later on.
Where does the second piece of paper get glued? I've got this one. Okay.
Okay,
then,
so yeah, so that's going to be on your left side, Robin,
right.
And then your back portion where you added the ink opens up to it.
I don't have any ink there. Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, but that's right. I see what you're doing. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. So add ink. I don't know if you can see me. Add ink to the edge of your paper.
Right.
Yes.
Here.
Yes. Not the top. Not the top. Just the opening part.
Over here or this part?
Yeah. And that's just so when it's closed, you probably won't even see it, to be honest with you. But you know, I just like to add it on the edges.
Better to have it than not.
Yep. And we don't need paper because that just makes it too thick, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
and then this is where you glue them together. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't have any plate paper here.
But it's going to be a pocket.
Oh, okay.
So just the top, fold it back up,
Oh, wait a
open.
minute. Okay.
Yep. Take the very first page, the part that you glued, or the part that you inked, excuse me. Open up the first page. Yeah, that's what you're gluing.
Oh. I'm confused.
Good, I don't feel so bad.
You've got two pieces of paper there.
Because I glued mine. Mine's already glued.
Okay, so I'm gluing.
Yeah.
I've got to put a piece of paper.
Yeah, but we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
We're gluing them together. We're adding the front to the back.
And that would be this part.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. God, I'm confused.
So that's okay. So when you close it, don't glue yet. No, don't glue yet. Close it. Just mock close it for me, because I want you to understand what you're doing here.
Okay.
Mock close it. Just take just the first 2 pages of it. Don't take the whole book. Take that page and that page. You got some of your glue stuck to your other page. Yeah, there you go. That's
And these are going to.
that's what you're gluing together.
Okay.
But that doesn't look right to me though, Robin.
No, that's what I mean. Do I have the wrong part?
I'm not sure.
Maybe. No, that's the back.
Okay, that's the back. Okay.
But if I do this, it's going to cover that up.
Is anybody else having that problem?
Well, it's probably just me.
Because when you glue them, you should have a pocket here.
Well,
Do you only have one pocket in the book so far?
One
yeah.
pocket in the inside of the book. Yes, your other pockets are on the outside.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Front. I have the front.
Okay.
So that's your is that your front?
That's my front.
Okay.
Is that supposed to? No, I got it backwards.
This is my front. I've got my front will have the covered part and then a
Okay.
big part.
I've got it backwards then.
Oh, okay.
Wait. No. Because I thought this was my front.
No, that well, your front just has this, but when it's closed, you have this tab here.
That's what I've got him backwards.
Do you?
Okay, I'm not going to slow you down. I will wait.
Put it down for me, Robin. Put it on the because I want to see, or hold it up. Hold it up like this.
Okay.
I want to see what yours looks like. Okay, so that's your front.
This is my front.
That's okay. That's not right.
No.
So
Here's the part. This is the front then.
okay, and then put your other page.
Then
And
it
then
goes
show it.
this way,
Yes, that's it right there. It looks
and
like.
then the back will look like this.
Correct.
So I had mine backwards.
I think so. I can't really tell. And that's okay. You don't have to have the leather on the back side. It's not that big of a deal. But when you have it together, ultimately you should have, this is your page. You should have a tab here.
Yeah.
You should have a middle portion. You should have a tab here.
Yep.
Okay. This is your pocket. You have a middle portion, and then you have a tab in the back.
Okay, but I don't have paper on that. Am I not supposed to have paper?
No,
on
not yet. Not yet.
Oh.
I got ahead of us. So yeah, the only thing you
Okay.
should have paper on was that inside pocket and the back and front.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I actually have this paper on the wrong one.
The wrong side. Okay. No harm, no foul, Robin. We didn't use
I'll just
all the
put
paper.
another. I'll just put
Remember?
a different piece.
Or
over.
you have extra of the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just-
just gonna put it on the other side.
Okay. I wouldn't waste my other paper. I would just take the extra that you have, because remember, we didn't use the handprint. You should have extra of that handprint, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it just means you're both parts of your inside is going to get covered, which is fine.
Okay.
Your pocket's
Okay.
going to be a little thicker, but that's no big deal.
Okay. I got you.
All right. All
Woo!
right. Are you good? I was kind of getting hot and sweaty there a minute. It's very stressful. All right. Is
Okay.
everybody else good? I'm sorry. We got a little derailed there a minute.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys.
All right. So while Robin recovers that, at this point, we've glued our front and our back together. So now we should have one book. Does everybody?
Except Robin.
Except
Everybody
Robin, yeah. Is
Except
everybody
Robin.
else good? Does everybody have one book now? Here's my front. I open it up. I've got a middle portion. I've got this tab here. I've got my pocket. I've got a middle portion, and then I've got my back side. This is where we're at right now. Okay. We're going to add this last pocket, guys, and that's where this piece comes in. You should have one piece. Robin, we'll catch you up, so don't fret.
Okay.
You should have one extra piece here. We added ink to it. I'm going to make sure everybody has that.
Don't pay attention to my tongue hanging out. That's how I caught.
All right, so this piece here is going to be your additional pocket, okay? But we're going to cover this with paper first, guys. So what I want you to do is once you find this piece, I want you to figure out what paper you want to add, okay?
Okay, now I got these two. I'm going to do the top, the bottom, and the middle.
Yeah, but do it on the shortest side. You don't want to add glue on the long side tab. So kind of just put it together without the glue. Oh, yeah, just put it together. Just the 2 pages, Robin. Not the whole book, just the 2 pages.
Okay.
I want you to see the short side and the long side. So you should have a short side, right?
Yes.
And a long side. Put glue on the short side so you don't over glue.
Okay.
So it's going to be on your, yes, that one right there. Side, and middle is where you want to put your glue.
Monica, on the one we're doing now, the sky,
yes.
Did you ink just one side, the
did.
rounded corner side?
Correct.
Okay.
Your paper is going to go on the non-inked side.
Okay.
So, yeah. So just find what paper you want to use. And don't glue your pocket to the page yet, because you want to add paper to this part, but then you want to add a little bit of paper to the part that's going to show on the back side. So don't glue them together, just add your paper. Robin, are you okay?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to have to do some upkeep when I, oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you've got it lined up correctly. Yeah, don't pull, don't tug, let it dry.
Okay.
You're getting me all hot and bothered there a minute, Robin.
I don't know how I got them backwards. Okay. So we're taking this one and.
Yeah, and adding paper to the opposite side that you inked.
Okay.
And you want us to go ahead and glue it now?
Glue your paper to the one piece. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Don't attach it to your journal yet, though.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. And then once you've got your paper glued, if you want to round your corner, I do, just round the corner on your paper. Okay, so now we should have our top of our pocket covered with paper. The inside has ink. You want to go back to your journal book. This is going to get glued here, okay? But before you glue this, add some paper to the tab portion, and you just need it a little bit because, again, this is a pocket and you're not going to see it. So just figure out what paper you want to use, so that way when you add your pocket, it coordinates. So again, you know, try to find paper that's going to look good together. And I'm just going to kind of sit back here a minute and watch you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Lords, Melody, let me know if you guys are good, or if you have any questions. I'm just kind of hanging tight here.
You gave us a lot of nice paper.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I do. And it all really coordinates. There's not really one that really stands out and looks odd, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. You know, honestly, it's fun for me to source everything and to kind of put these kits together. But I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were on with the railroad one. I keep buying vintage items for it. And I told my husband, I said, I need to stop because at some point I'm going to buy more than I've charged for the kit. but yeah, it's fun. I feel like I'm, you know, kind of on a what do you call it, like a hunt, because I'm looking for all this stuff for my journals. Yeah. Curate, that's it. Curate the kits. I like to curate the kits.
Doesn't Tim say it's all about the journey?
He does. Yeah, he does.
Oh, that worked out.
Yeah, this is the first time with the railroad kit. This is the first time where I don't have the kit finished before I put the class out there. But it was already in my brain how I was going to do it. And I wanted to get the class out there. And I figured most of the people that are attending my classes now know me and know what I'm about and know they're not going to be disappointed. So I figured out. Yep.
Well, this is my first one, and boy, I'm not disappointed.
Very good. Yeah.
Your papers are incredible. All the stuff you collect, that's what really makes it fun.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest with you, Diane, I'm kind of going towards my Backstage Pass people now, because the Backstage Pass get the class for free. So I'm going to always kind of stay. I'm going to do a minimum of 4 classes a year, because that kind of is what I promised in my Backstage Pass membership. So I figured they've already paid for the class, just with the membership. So yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm doing for the last 2. I don't want to do Halloween and Christmas again, but I have to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet.
So you're saying I should probably get a Backstage Pass? Is that what you're saying?
You know, Diane, I don't like to. I'll let the other members talk to you about that.
Yes, do. It's worth everything.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Well, I didn't realize I would like it so much until I saw this one, because I was a detective. So it made me just laugh. It was so fun. I had it again. And then I saw the railroad one. Okay, now I'm in. I'm sucked in. So now I'm thinking, okay, Diane, you better make some investments here.
Yeah. And honestly, the Backstage Pass, like I said, I think it's like $89. I can't remember what it is, somewhere around there. But $60 for 4 classes, you've already paid for most of the pass already. Plus, you get all the digitals for free in my shop. So well worth it.
And you get addicted to her kits.
Oh yes, I'm addicted to all the stuff so far. So I already have my problems.
Yeah, and I'm trying to build a community. So hopefully you guys, where you trust me, you know me, and I won't lead you wrong. I promise. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move on here. So at this point, you guys, we've covered our pocket top you're going to cover, of course, the inside of the back portion of your book, not the whole page, just the part that's going to show. And then we're going to glue this. So what you want to do is you want to add glue. I would add it to this. You're going to add it to the top, the bottom, and the side. Okay.
Because this is one of the pockets, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Now, one of the most important things on this pocket I found is when you're adding your page, make sure your journal still closes. So sometimes we have a habit of trying to butt it up so tight. But if you go over that crease, your pocket's not going to close your journal's not going to close nicely. So, you know, before you start committing to pushing this glue down, just make sure that your book opens and closes nicely. And that will help you with the placement of your pocket card. Okay. And then once you've got your top part of your pocket attached, of course, you know, go back over it with your ink just to get rid of some of that white part, or beige part, I guess I should say. All right. Okay. So now you have a pocket. Don't get too enthusiastic and stick your hand in there because you want it to dry. But you're gonna have a pocket here now. And once that dries, you can put all your extra. That's what kind of makes my journals chunky. This is the back pocket. When I'm creating and I have extra ephemera, I just stick it in my pocket. So that's how my books get so chunky with all of my ephemera. Okay, so now we are ready to decorate the other pages. You should have a journal that's intact now, pretty much. We've added all of our pockets. You've got your front, you've got your back covered. Now we're going to decorate the rest of the pages. Now, on these pages, of course, you want to figure out what your paper you're going to use. Well, before I get ahead, is everybody good? Does anybody have any questions? I don't want to get ahead of us. That's a good idea, Cordelia. I'm thirsty. Let me take a drink. Melody's good. All right. Very, very good. Okay, so the first page, and I'm going to bring out my prototype here for y'all. The first page, when you open it up, this is where I put the ledger paper. This is authentic journal ledger paper. It's authentic vintage ledger. I've kind of pinpointed that for the first page. You don't have to copy me. This is just what I did. And this is kind of my thought process when I was putting this together. this was my first page, because to me, this was kind of like if the detective had to write notes to himself, maybe he needed to have a combination, maybe he needed to make a little note. That was kind of what I thought about on this is you open it up, the detective can write little notes. So that's why I chose ledger paper for this. You're going to have, you should have another small piece that creates a pocket right here for you. Okay, so you should have the ledger paper and you should have a small piece that has a pocket. This is just getting glued down to this page. Add your ink around the edges, add your pocket. Remember your pocket, you don't want to glue the top part because it's a pocket. Glue the side, bottom, and side. And then that will be your first page. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay.
Is the little pocket a piece we cut off from the original ledger, or did you send something separate that was small?
I thought I sent it. I think there was a plastic bag that had smaller pieces.
Yeah.
I think it was in there, if I recall.
And is it the exact same? Is it the exact same paper?
It is, yes. If I screwed up, I apologize, but that was the intent. Does anybody else not have this small piece, or have you found your small piece? You got it. Okay, Cordelia. Yep, that's it.
And it's not this, is it?
Nope, it's not that.
Okay. Let me see.
Yep, Robin has it too. I just saw her hold it up.
Robin has it? Okay. Oh, shoot. Let me see.
Still trying to get in the bag. Melody's trying to get in the bag. If you don't have it or you don't find it, then we can come back to the pocket, because as you use your items, you're going to have scratches. But what I would say is at least glue down the folder type, and then we can come back to the pocket. The pocket you could add after the fact.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Another thing also, I'll show you a little tip, because I have a feeling many of you will be attending future classes. If you want to get ahead of the game, what I did is I went through, I kind of figured out what paper I was going to use for what page. And I don't know if you can see this, but I put like a number 2 here, and then I put a number 2 on the paper. So I kind of thought about, I did my thought process before I went on camera, knowing, okay, this is 2, this is 3, and I numbered my pages, and then I numbered my paper accordingly. So, you know, if you ever want to kind of prepare for your classes, so you don't have to make a decision, you know, last minute, you can always do that. I think sometimes the creative process, trying to figure out what to put where, takes us the most time. Because the journal itself, once you have your ideas down, the journal itself doesn't take too long. It's coming up with the initial prototype, I guess. All right. And then again, once you get the paper on, just ink up the edges. Okay. So that is the inside portion of your first page. Let's see. Melody, the pocket that you're looking for is part of your journal page here, and then it's just a smaller portion of that. So it should match your paper. And I thought I stuck it in with the smaller items. And I think there was a small, yep, you got it. It might have been tucked in with other items. Yep, Diane found it. So yeah, it's matching paper essentially. All right, so that is our first page here. All right, the next page we're going to work on, I don't want to say it's a complicated page, but it can be. So I'm going to kind of talk about it and then we'll do it. So you should have two pieces, and I punched out the eyelet for you because I wasn't sure if everybody would have that. But these are essentially flaps that will open up. Okay, so you're going to need the flaps. You're going to need some paper, okay? And then you should have a couple of tabs here. So that's what we're going to use next. The first thing we want to do is we want to cover this with paper. So just pick any background paper. If you want to try to coordinate it with your flaps, you can, because these flaps are going to go right like that and open up, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our paper. Melody, did you find that pocket, the ledger pocket?
Are the flaps gingham?
Yeah, I believe they are. Yes.
So these are.
Oh, that's them. Yep, that's them. Okay. Yeah, mine are different. I ran out of that paper for my
Okay.
kit because
Okay,
I had one person. Oh, who was it?
okay.
It wasn't you, Diane. Well, it must have been somebody else. Someone emailed me after I had sent out all the kits asking if I had any more. And I had my kit that I was going to use for the class. So I'm like, well, I said, yeah, I do. I said, but I have to kind of scrounge it together. It was under your face, Melody. So that's why some of my paper is different, because someone wanted the last kit, which was my class kit. So.
No, it wasn't me, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Brandy, I think is who it was. Brandy emailed me asking me if I had another kit, and the only kit I had left was mine for the class, but it worked out. Okay, So, yep. So we're adding our paper to the journal itself. This is going to be the background paper. And again, you know, make sure when you're adding your paper, kind of play with your journal a little bit. Make sure it still closes. You don't want to go over that crease line.
Do you want us to go ahead and glue with the inside
Yep.
paper in?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, so once you've got your background paper, the next thing I want you to do is to get your flaps. Now your flaps, I think I scored them for you. I hope I did. You're going to want to add glue to, you know, you got it scored, right? You want to fold it over. Your brad portion should be in the middle. Okay, so this is how you want it to look when you're finished, is with these two pieces in the middle. You're going to put glue on the edge here of the score, and you're going to put glue on the edge here, and you're going to add it to the page. Okay, because they're gonna flip up.
Mine aren't scored.
They're not?
No.
Okay. You're going to score it. Okay, you're going to need to get your scoreboard out. It's going to be a half an inch of a score.
Half an inch? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I decided at that point I was doing too much for you guys, so. Can't hear you, Robin. What are you saying? That's all right.
Half an inch at the bottom.
Yes. Well, the bottom and the top, I should say, right? So keep in mind, it's the opposite side of where your brad is gonna be. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, can you go over where we put these?
Yep. So you're going to have your score here.
Okay.
It opens up like this, okay? So you want to add your top one here. Essentially, these need to be in the middle because this is what ties. But this is how you want it to look.
Where are you gluing it? Is it the...
I'm gluing it to the folder.
Oh, okay, not to the back of it.
I'm gluing it to the page. So the score, here's your score, right?
Yeah.
Fold it.
You're not gluing it like this.
Right to the book.
You're not gluing it like this.
No, it's gluing it to the page. Yep.
To the page. Okay.
Yep. That is an idea, though. You know what, Robin? That's not a bad idea, actually, because you're going to cover that back page.
Well, I wasn't sure if we were going to cover it or not.
We are. I mean, I guess you could. Let me see what that page is on the other side. Yeah, if you want. Absolutely. Let me see how it opens up, though.
Yeah, it might not work.
Yeah, it would still open. The only thing is you're gonna have a bigger gap in the middle because I didn't account for that.
Yeah.
So okay. That's a good idea though.
At a 1/2 inch, Monica, mine still has a pretty good gap in the middle.
A big one or a small one?
Well, I guess
Because mine has a gap too, which is fine because you're gonna have rope, and I didn't. If you get bulky, I didn't want them hitting each other, so you will have a gap. Yeah, you will have a gap.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a bigger gap. If we do it like Robin, I like that idea, but I think that makes my gap even bigger.
Right, right. I might do that in the future. Think about doing it that way, but I didn't plan on that for this one.
That makes it more secure.
Monica, I haven't glued my pocket from the back side, so I can slide it underneath that, can't I, before I glue the back, to make the side pocket?
You could, but keep in mind if you glue it under the pocket, it will bring your paper down farther, so your gap in the middle will be bigger.
But I haven't scored mine yet. So if I take that into account, because mine weren't scored, if I take that into account, I can fold it under. It's
sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Determine where your score needs to be based on the placement of your paper.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, ultimately, however we get there, whatever path we take up the hill here, ultimately you want to end up with pockets that open up like this. All right. I guess in crafting, there's many paths up the same hill, right? It's just as long as we all get up the hill.
Oh, mixture. Sorry.
Now there's going to be more that we're going to do to this page, but because we're actually gluing something to it, we're going to come back to it because I want the glue to settle before we start opening and closing these pages. So once you get them glued, we're going to move on to the next page, but then we'll come back to this one. Let's give it time to dry. Okay.
I'm really liking the smell of this glue. I may get a little loopy, but it is. Oh Lord.
Robin, it's not that kind of a class.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I want to take more classes with Robin. She's pretty funny. Glue 101 with Robin.
Yes, you have to order it from Monica first.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so once we have our flaps glued down, like I said, we're going to go to the next page because I want this glue to have time to set. All right, so on the other side of the page, this is where we have, let me find it. This is where we have these pockets here. Now, I think I glued these ahead for you because I didn't want it to be too complicated. So you should have a piece that looks like this.
Oh, she didn't trust us. That's what it was.
Well, I'm not always sure what supplies everybody has, and I didn't know if you would have corner rounders, and so I just thought it'd be easier to put it together for you. But before you glue this to the paper, you want to find paper for the background. All right. Now, if if you don't want to cover the whole page, keep in mind this is covering part of your page for you. But if you want to cover the whole page, that's fine too.
And you said that was one long piece that you made for us?
It is, yeah. I believe I did. If I can recall, I sent out these.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Uh-huh.
Oh, because yours has the little things on it. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they might be a little different because this was one sheet of paper and I just cut it. So
Okay.
the front part might be a little different, but essentially it's got the loops and it's got 2 pockets here.
Oh, no, there's no pockets on it. There's one sheet, but there's no pockets.
Oh, I didn't punch the loop for you?
No, on this guy, do I have 2 sheets like this?
Oh, I guess I didn't glue them together. Yeah, that's right. So you're gonna need to glue them together. Yep. You should have 3 pieces then. You should have a small one, a medium one, and the larger one.
All right, let's keep shopping.
Nope, that's another pocket.
Oh.
That's it. That's it. Yep. And essentially start with your back piece, then get your middle piece, just butt it to the bottom, glue the sides, and then the small piece right on top.
Okay.
Yep.
And that goes on that inside, on the
other side of the flap right here.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
you want to find paper for the actual journal. So, you know, don't get ahead of yourself and glue this down because you want to cover the back side of the journal.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Monica,
Yes.
I'm slightly confused.
Okay.
So I have this piece here. It's got a tag in it.
Yep. That's a separate pocket. So that's not the one we're working with right now.
Okay. So then I have these 2.
Yes. Those are the ones. You should have a smaller piece of that.
Okay.
There's 3 pieces that look like that.
I found it.
All right. So you're going to start with your back piece first, Cordelia, your longest one. And then the middle one, just line it up to the bottom. It'll be your next size pocket. And then your smaller one will be your last pocket. So it's just tiered pockets. Okay. If you have a corner, not a corner rounder, a circle punch, I thumb punch these so you can do that as well. You don't have to, but that's what I did. Let's see, they gave us the measurements. So measurements, the Lord's, the measurements are your smallest pocket is about 2.5 inches tall, and your middle pocket is 4 inches if you need the measurements for those. I thought if you just line them up at the bottom of your page, I thought I cut them accordingly, but essentially just make sure you've got them lined up at the bottom, and it should be fine. Oh, Lord's found them. Okay.
And leave the tops open because these are pockets, correct?
Correct. Yep. Uh-huh. Now, again, I think I said this, you don't need to necessarily decorate the entire page because only the top portion is going to show. So if you don't want to waste all of your paper, just figure out exactly how much is going to show on that page. Kind of like I'm doing here. I'm only adding paper to the top portion. And then once I add the pocket, it'll cover it. And then, of course, every time you add a piece of paper, you know, just come back in with your distressed ink to clear up any of that white that might be showing, just to distress up the edges. That's just ongoing. Lord, you're cracking me up. I see a question, and then like a few minutes later, I see, never mind, I found it. LOL, it was under my face. So you're cracking me up. So if I delay in answering you, I'm gonna wait to see if you answer your own question. Cracking me up. All right. Oh, Lords, did you get your mailed package? I sent you a couple of things for our exchange that we did. All right. Good. I'm glad. Okay, good. Okay, so on this page, once you've got everything you know, glued down, you're going to end up with, you know, your pocket here, your pocket here. Ha, don't do what I just did. Don't put glue on your top portion. I just did that. Naughty, naughty. But see, I saved myself because this glue doesn't glue down quickly. All right. Dang it. All right. This is a pocket. So this last portion, don't get crazy and add glue to the, you just want to do the edges. Oh my goodness, Monica. Got ahead of myself. All right. I think I saved it. Yep. So when you're adding this piece, just add glue to the sides because you want to keep this top pocket open. And I got ahead of myself and I added it to the back as if I was just laying down paper, but I think I saved it. Yeah. Oh boy. I'd rather me make the mistake than you. Right. Okay, so what I was saying is you should have a pocket here, and a pocket here. All right. Okay. Okay, so here's where we're at. We just finished decorating this pocket page. And again, you should have, you know, a pocket here, a pocket here, and a pocket here. Trying to get the rest of that glue out. And is everybody good? Is everybody ready to go? Perfect. Okay. Robin, yep, I see you nodding. Okay, very good. Cordelia, you good to move on? Yep. Okay, perfect. All right. So now we're going to work on the opposite page here. The opposite page is this big one. This is your biggest page, I think, as far as paper goes. So when you're measuring it, remember you have this little corner tab here. There's a couple of ways you can do this, and I've done this both ways. Number one, you can just add paper up to this point here, and then you can add like a coordinating tab paper, or you can just do one sheet. Let me see if I can show you an yeah. So on my very first one I did opposite paper. I don't know if you can see that. So this is my front, and then the tab I did a different color. So that is an option. It's a design option. I think that's the only one I did it with. Or on this particular one, I just did one page. Now, the reason I only did the one page is because when I decorated it, in your ephemera, you're going to have pieces that you can add here. So I knew I was going to cover it anyway. So I just stuck with the one piece of paper. So that's a personal choice to do it however you want. And there's no pockets. There's nothing on this. All it is designer paper. Okay. All right. Okay, so so again, once you've got it, you know, exactly how you want it, use your pencil if you need to kind of trace around the page. All we're doing is adding glue and sticking it right to the page. Remember, once you glue it, check to make sure it closes. You should be doing this on every page. Once you glue your paper down, check your book. You know, make sure everything is still closing. The last thing you want to do is have your glue permanently glued down and you find you can't close your book. I've been there. You don't want to be there. It's just a good habit to do when you're covering any type of a journal book is test your creases, test your folds. And then once you've got it glued down, of course, come in with your ink just around the edges. I'm always very generous. Again, I don't mind that it, you know, comes off on my paper like this, because I like for it to look worn and old, you know, that kind of a thing. Okay. All right. And give us a minute here. Make sure everybody's good. Then we're going to move on to the next page. We're really good for time. It's 10 till 2. So we still have an hour and 10 minutes. So I think we're doing good. All right, I'm going to move on to the next page. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. I'm watching. All right, so here's our next page. This should already be covered because this was our pocket. This is where we connected the front and the back. So this should already be decorated. Is everybody good with that? Does everybody see that? This page should already be decorated because this is where you attached your pocket. No?
I see it, but I think I was late for that one.
Okay. All right. Did you already attach your journal book?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what part you didn't cover, but it may be a little difficult. Yeah. Because you have to go around the edge here. So just do your best to, you know, to try to cover that when it's already glued to the journal book.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. Not impossible. Just you don't have the room to cut around it anymore because we've got it glued. All right. So I am on this page here. So here's our pocket, and then I'm on this page. This is the pocket that had the toe tag. So I know some of you guys showed me that pocket that had the toe tag. This is the piece we're working on next. So what you want to do is cover this. So find some paper. I put black. You can put whatever you want, but I wanted it to coordinate with this paper here. So you want to basically cover this paper, and then you're going to add your pocket here. Okay. The pocket doesn't need to be at the bottom. Mine, in fact, has a little bit of an edge, so it's not necessarily designed to go right to the bottom. It can float up a little bit.
So Monica, for me, just find something to cover that one side, that whole side, a piece of paper.
Yes. So when you turn the page, Diane, I'm thinking this is the part that's not covered. This one right here. Yeah.
Well,
so you need
both of them.
both of. Oh, you didn't do the inside either? Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, you're
I
good
got
there.
the pocket, and then I don't have that side, and then I don't have that side.
Okay, so you basically have to find paper to cover both of these.
Okay.
Yep. And then your pocket, once you find your pocket, again, this was a pocket that probably had the toe tag in it, I think. Just glue it to the page. Don't put glue in the middle because it's a pocket. Just put glue on the outside edges.
Oops.
Okay, so I have my black paper for the background, and then I have my pocket here. And again, your pocket, you should have an opening here. You should have an opening here for your pockets. Okay, I'm going to give us a minute, let everybody catch up. Okay, if everybody's good, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next page. So essentially, you should have, this is your pocket here. You should have this covered, and then you should add that small pocket. Is everybody good for me to move on, or do you still want me to hold back a minute? I can hold on. Yeah, no problem, Diane.
Sorry, okay, I glued kind of as best I can, and then there was another pocket I needed to put in there.
On
Did you
which
say I need? Well, I'm kind of on that weird. I have to finish that, but I can do that later because I'm kind of in a hurry.
Yep.
That's the pocket page, you know. So
Yep.
did you put something?
I did. Yeah, you should have a pocket. I think I put the toe tag in this particular pocket. That might be it in your hand. Yeah, that's it. So I've already put the pocket for you. You want to add, I think you added your paper already. Your pocket just gets attached to the page.
Okay.
Keep it in mind, you want to keep it open. So just do your glue on the sides and on the bottom.
So basically there's two pockets there.
There are, correct. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to flip to the next page. Basically, for those of you that are ready to go, you're just going to add paper to the opposite side, and then we're going to do something else. But find some paper to go on this page, and just add it to your page.
Yeah.
So we're on the opposite page. This is the pocket page. All I did was turn the page over. All we're doing is adding paper here. And then this is your back page. So this is the last page we're covering here. Okay, so once you have this back page covered, we're going to create, I guess a belly band is what it's called. You're going to want to find some paper and cut. How big is that? Let's see. It's about 1.5 inches, a little less than 1.5 inches. But essentially it's just a belly band, all right? So you're going to glue the top and the bottom. And this is where I stuck this. Okay, so it's just a place to stick items. You don't have to put this there. That's just how I did it. But it's a nice little tuck, essentially.
And you want us to glue that in the middle of the page?
Well, not in the middle. What I would recommend is if you are going to use it how I used it, find this piece. You should have this in your kit. Fold it over and then determine where your belly band goes based on where you want this to fall. Because remember,
the little classified. Okay.
Yeah, and it should be scored for you. But that's going to help you with your placements. So figure out exactly where you want this to land. I wanted mine to be you don't want it too far over because then it won't close, of course. So keep that in mind. But you just want to make sure if you are going to use it, that it fits nicely.
Go down. Go down, Frankie. Come on, sweetie. Go down, honey.
So as you can see here, I have my little folio and I have it just right up against there. And then I'm just kind of determining where I want this based on, when the journal's closed. It works out to be about 1/2 inch in is what it works out to be, somewhere around there. Okay, and once you do that, that decorates all the pages. Every single page should be covered now. All right. Now we're going to go back to this page here, but I'm going to give us a minute. As soon as you add your belly band, let's go back to the page that has these open flaps. Okay, so I'm going to talk. Don't feel rushed or anything. I just want to explain what we're doing next. We're going to be adding these little tabs here to the inside of your page. So you're going to want to find these two little tabs, which should be probably in that plastic bag, I think. Okay. So the first thing you want to do on these is, distress them with your ink. You don't necessarily want to cover the whole thing. You can if you want to add ink to the whole thing. I didn't because I wanted it to be kind of open to be able to stamp on it. If you don't have stamps, what I used for my original one was one of the Tim Holtz stamps. I think I used received and approved is what I used. But you have lots of stickers you could use, if you wanted to. You can cut these down and do documents, classified. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. I'm going to use my personal stamp set on these, but if you don't have the stamp set, the stickers will work fine. This is a personal choice, what you want to do. But if you are going to stamp it, I would recommend stamping it before you actually glue it down because it's going to be more difficult to stamp it once you have these glued in. So, make a choice here. If you're going to add a sticker after the fact, you don't need to worry about that right now. But if you're going to stamp, you want to do that ahead of time. Now, the stamp set that I used was the mail art one, and I used the, what did I use? Received and approved is what I used. So if you have this is the one that I used, is the mail art one.
And you want us to stamp each tab?
Yes. What's going to go in here? Let me show you what these are to help you decide what to use. So these are your criminal cards. I think we made these in one of my lives, and I gave you guys the link. But you should have like manila paper, and you should have, you know, this graph paper and the warrant to apprehend. But essentially, these go right here. This is how these go in. And then it closes. So that's basically your criminal. These are your criminal cards. Does that make sense to everybody? What this page is? So you should have 2 of these. They're blank, and then you'll have you know, the paper dolls. Well, that's one of them. But you should. Did you make that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely use that.
Okay.
Or you can make your own also, but that's essentially what I made this page for, was just a criminal card. You did get graph paper in there, and you also got, I think you got the warrant to apprehend, I want to say, and then I also gave you the big paper doll people, so to create your criminal cards.
These are the cards. I made a bunch. Dang it.
And these are things that you can, you know, make after the fact. That's what that page is for.
Yeah, these kind of things. I made a couple of these.
Exactly. Yep.
Is this what you wanted? Okay. All right.
Exactly. And these are nice too, because like I said, these are inserts, and you can make as many as you want. You can change them in and out. As long as you have the structure of the journal, you can switch. You can switch.
What
those.
page was that, Monica?
This is the page that has the flaps.
Oh, okay. You're going to use, okay, the flaps are going to cover that. Okay. Got it.
Yep.
I just ordered that stamp set. It hasn't shipped yet, so.
It's a good one. I really like it.
I ordered 3 stamp sets from the sale, and they
Did
were
you?
they were all the older ones.
Yeah. A good time to stock up. All right. So when you're adding these tabs, the first one's going to be a no-brainer because it's just at the bottom. All right. So just figure out, this is the one for the most part that's going to show, because when you open it up, you know, the second one is covered when you have this in here. So I would recommend doing the first one, and all you're going to do is just butt it right up against the edge here. So you've got your flap. I wouldn't do it at the very end. I would butt it up against where the paper is, if that makes sense. So you want it to be right there.
You mean where the fold? You mean where the fold is?
Not where the fold is, where the edge of the paper is.
Where the edge of the flap of the like.
So here's my fold.
Like this guy right here, the edge of that guy.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Sorry, your name covers up that spot.
Oh, it does. That's funny. Now, when you glue it down, Diane and everybody, remember this is a flap, right? So you don't want to glue it completely down. All you want to do is glue down. What do you want to glue down? You just want to glue down the bottom part. Okay, so don't add glue to the edges or on top, just the bottom part. All right, now for your next one, I'm going to give you some dimensions here. Essentially, you want to make sure that when your top card is in, it's not too far up that you can't close this. So from the top, well, let's just say from the top part of this one, you're about 1 3/4. But before you get ahead of yourself and start gluing, just make sure when you have your card in that it closes. So if you want to kind of get your card and place it here to determine where your tab needs to be, you can do that as well. You just don't want it to be too high up that you can't close your page. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, I see Robin's nodding. Cordelia? Yep, okay.
Sorry, I ran out of glue.
Uh-oh.
My glue thing was stuck to it, so I went and grabbed another one, so I'm a little bit trying to get my glue together here.
Yeah, that's
I know where you can get some good stuff.
Again, we gotta go to that party. I'm going to the party. Oh.
Buy Monica's glue. It's the good stuff.
Yeah, it has to be Monica's glue. Yes, we've already established it. Okay. All right, so I got my first flap down. Get your cards. And what was the measurement for the cards? Make sure the card goes.
Make sure when your card is in here that it closes. Yeah. So you don't want your flap to be too high, because then your flap won't close. You can't see that. You want the resting card to be underneath the flap. Right. Is what I'm saying essentially. So what I would do is I would get your card and kind of place it where you want it to sit when it's closed. And that will help you to determine where your second flap needs to go.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm with you now. Yeah, I'm following finally. All right. Got it. Missed that whole visual.
For sure. Are my tabs upside down? They are not upside down. I'm not sure if maybe the image on the screen makes it look upside down, but no, they're not. It might show a reverse, like a mirror on the actual camera, but no, don't put your tabs upside. Well, when you say upside down, the words are not, but the bottom part of your tab is the flat part, not the round part. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Yep, because these are tabs. Remember, these are gonna it's gonna go right like this. Okay. Now, we're not going to make these today, but you should have everything that you need to make your suspect cards. I'm going to show you both of these here. So you have the two bigger paper dolls. Any of the background paper will work. The Warrant to Apprehend is what I use, and then I use the graph paper, and then I just put stickers like suspect record. I stamped this for you from my field notes kit, so you should have a tab that says 785 in there for you. I believe I stamped that for you. And that can go, kind of like his number, I guess.
And what did you call those?
I call them suspect cards.
Suspect cards. Okay. Well, I guess I did them, but yours look different. I didn't use those other things.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You can make more If you want, Diane, use the other paper. But essentially, just make sure that it's the same measurements so it fits in your book. But yeah, you can make as many of these as you want and change them out. And
well, I took it from the first direction you gave us to get a start on it, and I made those little card things. And then I made a couple of those, but I didn't use that paper, and I like yours better. So
yeah, just make a few more because you can make several suspect cards if you have your own, your own pieces, and then just stick them in the pockets, and you can switch them out whenever you want. All right. So this page essentially is done. You should have rope to tie it closed. If you have thinner rope and you prefer to do the wraparound part, I don't think I can. I think I glued mine down. But yeah, my rope, the way that I did mine is I did it through the hole. So let me move my fingers here a minute. This is how I closed mine. But before you close it, I think I gave you guys extra of those tabs, the round little tabs that you can cover the back part. Those may be in the envelope. They're small. So yeah, it's these tabs here. And so if you want to cover the back side so it's not raw, you can cover that. All right. So the outside, now we're going to actually decorate the journal. So I'm going to start at the top or the front page. So, and we're just going to go page by page. We have about, I don't know, a little more than 30 minutes left. So I'm going to decorate the front page, and then we'll show you some of the other ones for ideas, and then you can kind of just decorate as you go. So for the front page, you should have this piece here. I want to say this piece right here, which is your reward page and your murder guy. But this is what I used for my front of my journal, and you should have had that in there as part of your principles that you needed to cut out. And then I rounded the corners on mine. You don't have to. You may have to trim it down a little bit because on my original journal, my pieces were separate. So if I think I gave you separate pieces, again, it's completely up to you how you want to do it. But I think you may have smaller pieces and you have like these criminals. If you want to do your front page differently, you can. But this essentially is what I did is I had my my reward page, and then I had my criminal guy. You can also use some of the bigger paper dolls of Tim Holtz. I think those would be fabulous as well. So however you want to do your front page, completely up to you. See, so on mine, this one is smaller. The guy's smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one, but then I'm going to use this guy and cover him just so he's a little bit more profound, a little bit bigger. Let me see if I have.
Is this the one you're talking about, Monica?
Yes. Yep. Now, if you wanted to use, Tim's paper dolls, I think some of them would cover. Yeah, if you wanted to. Yeah. So if you wanted to get creative and have a different
Yeah, it kind
criminal.
of does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to use this guy. But if you wanted to use, these paper dolls for something else, you can. So you just make some match chart. It's your journal. Just giving you some ideas of how you can go with this.
And you just glued that to the front?
I did. Yeah. And before you start gluing, remember your detective notebook does have to fit on the top. So you might want to glue that first, and then that'll help you with your placement. What measurement on the pictures? The pictures, are you talking about the insert cards, Lords? Those should be pre-cut. So essentially, you just want to make sure, I think that's what you're asking me. You want to make sure that the cards fit with, inside the page. So I think it's 4 inches, I think is what it is, if that's what you're asking me. Yep. So yeah, you should have a couple of tabs in there, Melody. No, I said Lord. Yeah, Melody. You should have a couple of those manila tabs in there already, and they should fit perfectly for your book. But I think they're 4 inches wide. Mine are 5. Okay. Yeah, as long as they fit in the book. I couldn't remember specifically. You just want to make sure that they fit on the page. Yeah, they are big. For sure they are big. Because when you open it up, this is how they look. So let me get my ruler here. So mine are 4, and I think that's what my page is. You just want to make sure, Melody, that when you have them in your page, they're not sticking out. So if 5 is too big, if 5 sticks out, you may have to trim it. But yeah, they are intended to work with the bigger characters. All right. All right. Okay. And then once you figure out who's going to go on your wanted poster, and just add them right on. Okay. So the other thing that I did on the front is I used one of the stickers, and the sticker that I used was the case file, and I just put that right across his chest. So this went right there.
Yours is a long one, not the small one?
I used the long yellow one,
Okay.
Now you also have this tab here. I think on mine, I used the pen because my thought was, you know, if this guy is out in the field, you know, and he has his notebook, he's going to need a pen. So I put my pen here for my decoration. Again, your notebook, you can, you know, use confidential if you wanted to, documented. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go. But for mine, if you want to copy mine, what I did is I used that pen that I got out of this pack. So you got lots of stuff in this pack. I don't even think I used it all on my first journal, but there's lots in here. And there should be a pen in there. There it is. Yep. So this is what I used on my journal. Is this pen? It's not a sticker, Melody. It's in the ephemera pack that you got. I think that's what you're asking me.
And is that also where the case file, the
case file was a sticker on your sticker sheet.
Oh, was it? All right.
It was, yeah.
Can't seem to find that. On the sticker sheet. Shoot. Find it. Use that.
So if you're a Backstage Pass holder, some of these case files, ephemera sheets, they are part of the detective kit. So if you ever need any more of these, you're going to have these in that detective kit, which is the kit of the month for March. So the Backstage Pass holders, you have some digitals that you can work with as well. Now on my prototype, it looks like my tab was smaller. So if you decide to go with the pen, it may stick out a little bit, which is fine. I mean, keep in mind because it shouldn't tear, but if you're concerned about that, you don't have to go straight up. I mean, you can go closer to the wanted poster if you wanted to, or you can, kind of go wonky like this as well. I mean, that's a creative choice of how you want to do it, but just keep in mind that tab may not be long enough for the pen, so you may have to come a little closer to the wanted poster. And if you do that, I mean, it's not a bad choice because then you'll have room to put something else on the tab, which is, I think, what I'm going to do. The detective notebook tag, that was a sticker Melody, this was a sticker for you. I think it was a sticker. It was either a sticker or a printout. It was one of the larger pages that you had to pre-cut. Yeah, yours might be a little bit larger, but it should still work. Okay. Yeah, I think this is probably the one that you guys have is the larger one. Which I kind of like the larger one better, actually. But yeah, I think you guys have the larger one. All right. So yeah, if you want to, you can put something here. I haven't decided what I'm going to put here yet. But you will have room if you decide to move your pen closer to the wanted poster. So that's going to be a design choice. I'm going to kind of hold back, and I might decide later. All right. I don't want to get hung up on that. Okay, so now we've done the front page. I want us to go to the back page. Okay, so the back page, the way that I did it and my thought process around this, you won't have this classified because that was a personal stamp. But you can use, confidential. You can use a personal stamp if you have. But the numbers, my thought process around that was his precinct. So maybe the detective was from precinct number 7968. You know how in Law and Order and stuff they talk about their precinct number. So that was my thought process around the numbers. You don't have to put the numbers in the back. I gave you guys die cuts for numbers, but that's how I designed this as a precinct number. Completely up to you, but you had that design choice. I used remnant rubs on mine, but I didn't have remnant rubs for the kit, so that's why I gave you guys die cuts.
I was wondering what the numbers are for. That's a great idea.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, where I think of this stuff. It just kind of comes to me. All right, so I didn't cut out any numbers for myself, so I'm gonna do that after the fact. But those are what your numbers are for, is for the back. Okay. So this front page here with your pocket, I put the case file. I put another sticker of a case file, and then notice do not tamper with evidence. Those were the stickers I put on this one. And then I put the investigation and the typewriter on the bottom here. You have lots of choices for stickers, so don't feel like you have to, use what I used. I'm just showing you how I used it. Let's see.
Monica, can I see what you did with that flap, with that those the little, like the page you're on right now? How did you decorate that one?
This one right here?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so for this particular one, I used this gentleman here, which was part of these the where your pen was, essentially the die
Oh,
cuts.
okay.
So you have some pictures of people in there. So if
Okay.
you wanted to not necessarily use the man, you have a woman in there. And then you also have a field label that I stamped for you. You
Yes.
can have that in there. And then I just put the top secret. So that was the top portion. And then on the
Okay.
bottom portion, I gave you guys paper dolls. I think I gave you either couples or singles. Anyway, my idea around this was, again, just people of interest, persons of interest. So, I just decorated it with the back of this murder warrant. I don't know how many of these I gave you, but you could also use these little criminal cards if you wanted to, and then put the people over that. Use the warning. So just kind of dig through what you have to make your choice. So for instance, if I wanted to use this little, these are the Alcatraz ones. If I wanted to use this, what I could do instead of using my field label, I could put her picture here so I could pretend that this background was for the actual criminal. That's an idea you could do as well. If you wanted to use that field label for another area. That's what I'm going to do because I didn't actually cut out or stamp some more field labels. But you're not going to hardly be able to read it anyway because I'm going to put the top secret right over it. There's lots of choices, lots of just design choices with what you have. Okay, so here's what I did. So I used one of those mini Alcatraz criminal cards, and I covered the photo, and I just put a bigger photo, and then I'm going to put the top secret right across here. So that's a choice, if you wanted to go that direction. Or you can, you don't have to put top secret. You could put like case number if you wanted to. Maybe you wanted to put, you've got lots of choices. So, just kind of sort through what you have to determine what you want to put there. Okay, and then on the bottom one, I cut the edges off of this just to make it fit a little bit better. or just find something that's rectangle. What I did is I put the paper dolls on this. So I'm just going to tape that down. Let's see what I got. Now you all got different paper dolls, so mine may not necessarily match yours. But since I put a lady up here, I'm going to kind of match that. So I'm going to cut my paper doll to just show the people. But all your paper dolls are going to be a little different. So determine what you want to do there. And keep in mind with the paper dolls, if you have 3 and you only want to use 2, you can cut one of the people out. I mean, there's nothing to say you can't do that. I can't remember exactly what I gave everybody, but basically you're going to have, something that's rectangular. You're going to have the people, and then I'm going to put like a sticker. I think I used warning. So I'll use warning. Somewhere like right there. That's what I'll do. Or maybe up there. Yep. Whenever I'm placing ephemera, if I want to see how, kind of the idea, I mean, it's the creative process. Just place it without gluing it. I mean, it's easy for me to just kind of show you in glue because I've already gone through the creative thought process of this when I did my prototype. But just, place down the ephemera, try different ones. That's how you kind of determine what you like. Don't feel like you have to be married to one particular thing. Just play with it a little bit. This part of decorating the journal is my favorite part because I think this is where your creativity comes out. And I love working with little ephemera pieces as well. It's kind of my jam. But that's how I did this page here. Is I had the person, I put case file, and then down here I did the people with the warning. So that's how I did that.
And where did you get your warning sticker? Was that in the bag with that the pen?
It was one of the sticker sheets.
One of the sticker sheets. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So for the next page, we've only got about 10 more minutes, so I'm going to move a little faster here, just to show you ideas. So let me show you the next page here. Where am I at? Okay, so the next page here is just your pockets. I put report at the top, and I called it a day. So that's the only thing I did on this page. You can certainly put other stickers here if you want, chain of custody, but mine was just basically reports, and then I moved on. You could use maybe investigation. You've got evidence, lots of design choices, essentially. Melody, it's a murder scene. Yes, well, yes, it could be, I guess. Absolutely. You never know where the detective's where it's gonna take you. Okay, so the page with the hands, is where I used these characters. I think these were a printout that I gave you guys. And then what I did is I just cut the excess out. If you wanted to leave this extra in, I guess it would fit, but I just wanted the people. And then I put, these were from the package that had all of your die cuts where that pen was solved, and I did 408. So again, a design choice as far as how you want to decorate that page, but that's what I did. And this is where I also put the ticket. Let's see if I can find that ticket to show you. It's in here somewhere. Oh, fingerprints. I like that. Fingerprints are a key. There it is. So here's this ticket here. It says secret, secret. And that's what I put here. Now, if we go past 3 o'clock, I'll stay on a little extra for it if we need to. But just want to let you know the class officially ends at 3, so don't feel like you have to hang out. And I'm going to show you the other pages before 3 o'clock. So I'm not going to glue these down, but these are the people that I used for this page here. I just, cut them out. I rounded the corners, and then I did the 408 here, and then I did the solved here. Okay. On the next page where your pocket is, you don't have to put anything on this if you don't want to. Depending on what paper you chose, I put that map with the London Bridge. You guys should have that in your ephemera. And that's what I put here. And then I also put a tab. This one I used numbers, but these are the tabs that were in the die cuts where that pen was. You can easily put that there. And then I put a sticker here. If you don't want to use a sticker, again, you have lots of choices in that ephemera kit that you can use. But I'm just going to show you. So this pocket here, this is just a lot of ephemera. I gave you guys a little envelope. What I did after I was finished decorating this, all of my extra stickers and whatnot, I stuck in this little envelope and kept it in the book. So if I ever needed to make another detective book or anything like that, I had all of my ephemera pieces. So your toe tag, you have some ephemera pieces. I don't know if I gave you this or not, but just basically your ephemera pieces, your toe tag. Maybe you go on the scene and the guy's dead. You need a toe tag. So, and this is a real toe tag too. So if you ever need a toe tag, I guess you have one now. But that goes in your pocket. You guys have blank tickets. This was one of my lives that I did where we decorated these. So some ideas, but essentially these are just decorated tickets. Yours are blank. Mine are decorated, and I just kind of decorated them. It's another insert you can have for your pocket. But yeah, all these extra ephemera pieces that you have, I just kind of stick them in here. So it's just a pocket. For the decorated pocket, I did use the pipe and confidential down here. So in your ephemera pieces, you're going to have this pipe here you can use. You don't have to use the pipe. I'm just showing you what I did. And then I had confidential right there. Okay. This next page where you have your belly band, this is a very simple page. This is just where we put our classified. Just goes right here. And then I did put one of the railway station Let's see if I can find it. There it is. You guys have Nottingham and you have London Bridge. So I just stuck this right here in my book. And then I also had this little magnifying glass here. I stuck this underneath the belly band just as decoration. Okay. And then your little, now this, when you get yours, your inside, I added ink to mine. So I just took walnut stain and I just kind of, added walnut stain to it. And then I stamped a number here. I think some of these will actually London. So London would fit here, I think. So some of if you don't have number stamps, these little die cuts will fit in your little book if you wanted to have it there like that. So that way when it's closed, you have something there. But that's this page here. And then for this last page, which is your pocket page, this is where just a lot of my ephemera went in here. But as far as the decoration, you have a paper clip. And I added the paper clip at the top, leaving it kind of open though, so I can use it as a tuck. Okay, so if you add your paper clip to this last pocket page, don't glue the whole thing down, just glue the top portion so you can use it as a little tuck. Okay, and then on the actual pocket, I just added stickers. I've got warning, top secret, I've got notice, do not tamper with evidence, and then case file. So I just added, various stickers here. I know I'm going fast, but I want you guys to be able to see what I did, and then you can finish up on your own. And then finally for the tab here, I put documented, but again, you have lots of choices: investigation, evidence, report, lots and lots of choices. If you don't want to use this whole railway south to London Bridge, you can cut off just the London Bridge part, or you can just cut off the railway. You don't have to use this in its entirety. You can, you can cut part of that off if you wanted to. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, did you put this one you put on the last page?
No, I put that one on the pocket page.
On the pocket page.
So right there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then what did you do? Sorry, Monica, what did you do with this? What did you do with the inside of this little guy? How did you decorate the inside of this guy?
I just added ink.
Okay.
So I took my walnut stain and I just kind of added ink to it. And then I had a number stamp that I added here. But
Okay.
what I was saying is some of these little tabs that says like stolen, Paris, London, they will fit here if you wanted to put something like that there.
Yeah, because mine has the inside of the folder.
Yeah.
So we want to whatever, cover it up maybe.
Yeah. And I left it like that intentionally because again, I wanted it to look like a real manila folder.
It does.
So it's just a mini. So yeah, so I would just grunge it up and you can just leave it as it is if you wanted to. Or you can add, I know that there's paper clips. You can, if you wanted to, you can glue it shut if you wanted to and use it like a little pouch. and then you can, you know, just put it in here like that. Personally, I like it open because I like how it shows the classified, and I'm just going to leave mine blank. Yeah, that's how I did that. All right. Does anybody have any specific questions? Because we are right at 3 o'clock. And I know people have lives, so I don't want to keep you longer than I need to. Any questions on any pages you want to look at again? Anything that didn't make sense you want me to go over for you?
Can I look at the page across? Yeah. Okay. The page you have with a little paper clip. What do you have there? You have nothing there.
Yeah. On my prototype, let me show you. There's just stickers.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So just add various stickers here. And then on your tab, lots of choices: documented, you know, solved, classified, report, however you want to use that tab.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. And then, of course, we talked about the precinct number in the back. All right. How soon can we watch the tutorial? So, Melody, yeah. So, could you read the tabs? Yes. Okay, I'm going to go through my book real quick, and then I'm going to go to my face, and I'll stop recording because I want to talk to y'all for just a minute. So the tabs, again, I think Lourdes is asking. So on this back tab, I put documented. Okay. This was a personal stamp I used. You don't have this classified, I don't think. Oh, actually, you do. You have it in a sticker, though. So yours would be a little bit different than mine. But I have classified back here. And then I have documented up here. I put evidence here. Let's see. This was just those tickets. I have report up here. And then I had case file here. And then I didn't have anything here, but I probably will put something. I don't know what yet, but I will be putting something there. So you should have enough ideas, I think, to finish your book. I showed you what I did, but again, don't feel like you have to copy my book completely. You've got lots and lots of ephemera pieces to work with, so you should have ample items to finish your book. I do want to show you for the pockets on the outside that we made. I just put, again, you can make these, you know, and I just kind of put, again, more suspect cards. So that's what I put in these side pockets here, are just suspect cards. You don't have a lot of room, and I would highly recommend that you don't overstuff those side pockets. I would just put one item in there, but you should be able to pretty much put lots of ephemera in these other pockets. This pocket is a great pocket to use, and of course you've got this pocket here. So you should you have lots of pockets to stick your ephemera pieces in. So whatever you don't use, the way that I store my extra items, I kind of use this as a theme file. So any of my detective stuff, I'll put my ephemera in here. So if I ever want to do a detective book or just a detective card, this is where I'll go to find my ephemera pieces, because I'll use this just as a filing book, and decoration, of course, too. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions before I kind of wrap up?
Would you suggest that we let the glue settle for a little while before we start stuffing it?
I would. Yeah, I would let it go overnight, Robin. So definitely decorate your pages, but don't stuff your pages with all your leftovers until overnight. Give it a good chance to settle in.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and then we can chat a minute.